Hello, this is Scott Carpenter, and welcome to another edition of the Sasquatch Awareness Project. And today I'm going to start a multi-part series on the Dogman. And so I'm sure a lot of you are saying, well, what in the world does the Dogman have to do with the Sasquatch Awareness Project, or Sasquatch Awareness, or anything that, remotely related to the Sasquatch? And that's a good question. And as I've mentioned in the past, everything about Sasquatch is related to other cryptids, and it ties into the supernatural, UFO, orbs, portals. It's all tied together, and I know that's just real hard for a lot to wrap their head around. But it's one of those facts of life that you've just got to get used to and understand if you're going to deal and cope with this Sasquatch phenomenon. So many times, and this is especially for those who are living on rural properties and have either Sasquatch living on or near their property, or coming on their property regularly, or they're dealing with trying to combat, keep them back, keep them away from the house, keep them from destroying the property, or that sort of thing. And it could be there's people that have the Sasquatch clans living in their hunting area, or near their hunting area, or near their camping area, the hiking area. So there's a lot of situations where you have regular Sasquatch activity, and the person that's watching this is aware of it, or needs to be aware of it, and they also need to be aware that along with the Sasquatch come the Dogman. And it's usually not right at first, but it comes along, and it's like first you're doing Sasquatch, and then the Dogman show up. And that's exactly what happened to me when I was doing research. I had no, desire or need or want to look for the Dogman. I'd barely heard of it. When I first encountered one, we were embroiled in the Sasquatch genome study, the DNA study, and we were, just trying to get footage of Sasquatch and do Sasquatch research, when I had a Dogman actually come up behind me, and I caught it on my back trail camera. The camera was, strapped to the shoulder going behind me, and I was in a very grown up, narrow place, and just a few feet behind me, and I'll show the footage here. The Dogman came up behind me. His head was back. He raised it forward, and then when I went to turn my shoulders, he went down. We had a few seconds. But when I got back home and saw that, it was, in my mind, and I think it's pretty good footage, but I remember David Plotty's telling me, when I showed it to him back in the day, because back then, like in 2011, 12, and 13, started 13 when we were doing the Sasquatch DNA study, Dogman was very popular, and so, in fact, it was a taboo subject. It was, don't talk about that. They already think we're crazy to talk about Sasquatch. They'll really think you lost it if you say you've got a Dogman video. And if you produce one, it's even worse. And it was one of those deals where, man, that's really good footage. It's too bad it wasn't a Sasquatch. So, it's kind of like, we need to kind of not release this footage yet until after the DNA study's been released. So, the critics can't use that. This is just another, basically, another bat. Say, see, they're crazy. They got Dogman. They believe in Dogman. So, but that was the atmosphere of this thing, and unfortunately, not looking for them and using the back trail, I've encountered several others. Now, I did go out one time a couple weeks after, and if you've watched my videos, I tell the story where Dave says, hey, let's go get some, can we get some hair samples for later, maybe, after the DNA study, Sasquatch, maybe we can do something with the Dogman. So I went back in the same area by myself, putting up tape traps to catch hair, and I had a face-to-face encounter with one. I've relayed that several times, but I might do it again. But for right now, this is part one is an introduction, and I am going to show you some photographs and a little bit of video, not to prove anything. If you're one of those that's like, oh, come on, Scott, you just can't believe that's real, that's fine. We're not here to prove anything to anybody. And if you don't think it's real, that's great. You need to go on and watch another channel. This channel is all about education and edification. And I'm showing videos and photographs of these creatures, and and it's for people that have seen them, or for people to be able to know what they look like so they can recognize them, and build some confidence there that no, I'm not crazy. I know what I saw, and here's video of something very similar. And so if I wish I had a dime for every time someone had sent me an email saying thank you for posting this video, or posting those still captures, and that's exactly what I saw. And so that, to me, it's worth it then, because those people got some edification, they got some backup, they got some vindication that, hey, I'm not crazy. I did see this, and this is what I saw. They can put a face and a picture to that encounter. So, and that's what I want to do here real quick. And also, there's different types. These creatures are very varied. I did an interview here recently with Tony Merkel, and we were talking about are they the Sasquatch, and especially the Dogman, and there's some the Land Between the Lakes area. There's some has been human attacks or attacks on humans, and apparently some human beings and people have been killed by these creatures. And so people need to be aware of that. They need to understand that these things can be dangerous. And there's different types of them. Phone went off. There's different types of them. I'm not real versed in it. Linda Godfrey, she's looked at some of these, and she's had high marks for them, and especially the video that I'm going to show. But and then one lady that was on one of the TV shows actually remarked that this video is as close to what we saw. And that there was an instance where they had Linda Godfrey wrote about it, and they made it on the TV where they had a group of dogmen surround the house that they were in, and just generally terrorized them all night. And it all started with a bright orb or UFO that landed in the woods, and then they felt the husband and wife were on the front porch, and they're like they could feel it. The hair went on the back of their neck, and they knew that they were around. So they're like, let's get in the house. So with that said, and I'll hopefully get my video right so my face won't get big, and face will stay small in the corner and video. But the first one I had is the one that I actually made eye contact with. And this is the best. I posted a short and it's blurry. And by my own admission, I'm trying to get this thing to focus. This thing's in a tree through a very thick foliage looking at me. Of course, I can see it fine with my naked eye and make eye contact with it. But you know, that and the video camera are two different things. So but this guy right here, this is it. This is one of the best ones. He's actually hanging on the tree. He's leaning backwards like this and looking over his right shoulder. And this one, and he's more of a German Shepherd type. You know, he's got the elongated, the longer snout and the big ears here on the side of his head. You see his eye right there, and definitely see his nostril, his mouth right there, even though he's tucked in there. Another type that is out there is one that's called a horsehead one, and that's because its head's more like a horse. It has a longer face, doesn't have a sharper snout, and it comes to a the nose on the end is kind of pig-like or doggish piggish-like, but the head's thicker. It looks more like a horse head, and they call it a horse head Dogman. And I captured one of those on back trail. Of course, a lot of people roll their eyes. You can roll your eyes all you want, roll them right on out in somebody else's video. But let's see. Let me go backwards here to that. There we go. So this is 4K. This is one of my 4Ks, and there was about 7 or 8, maybe 9 frames where you can see the way I had the camera, it was cocked on my shoulder, and you can see this right here, and he's still blurry. And this goes back to they do something that messes with the camera. And you can see things around him in pretty good focus, and then the creature itself's blurry, but you can definitely see the eyes and the ears, and you can see he's got a long snout like a horse, and looks like smaller shoulders, and that's really the best one. And so that's why it's been sharpened and it's been de-blurred, and I've done contrast and brightness on it, of course. But other than that, it is what it is. And it's not perfect, but pretty darn good shot of what one looks like. One of these horse head ones. And then that's just the close-up. See where it's bevel turned it. But this right here, this is a rock or something. It was behind a stump. A tree had fallen. And then it came up and looked over behind the stump, and I was with somebody, their brother-in-law, and they were in front of me, and I was behind them, and we were hiking. It was on Tellico Lake, so it wasn't, and so, but didn't have a clue that he was back there until we looked at the footage. This one's a little older. This is 1080p, and this guy. I had just entered the trail. The trail, I came down through here and then broke it to the right. And this guy moves. You can see it. I mean, it's back trail, and I don't have a gimbal on this guy, so it's shaky. And every time I take a step, it vibrates. But he's tucked in there, got his eyes covered, about 7 foot tall, I'd say at least. That's pretty good size. That's pretty tall. And this was, like I said, 1080p. You see here, the ears. That's him, and then blowed up. You got the right ear and the left ear, and then the cheek, and the classic dog-like face with the nose and the mouth there, and the shoulder, and then there's another one a little bit closer as I go walk by him. You can definitely see his ears, and you can see his muzzle. And the final one, a little bit brighter, you can definitely see the muzzle there. Of course, blowing it up makes it, of course, a little pixelated, but the angle there, he's definitely in the sunlight. And this one's more of a German Shepherd one. Is it the same one that jumped on the side of the tree? I don't know. It's in the same area, and there's just 3 headshots. And I know it's when it's big like that, they get pixelated up. Make them smaller. It's actually easier to see. And but there you can see the head angles are all different. You know, right here he's straight up, and his ears are shot straight up. These other two, his ears are a little bit lower, and then here his head's cocked to one side, it's where they cocked to the other. So that's the video. I'll get on with the video last. So let's see. So let's just go ahead and we'll do the still capture. So this is the Dogman that snuck up behind me. We got all this craziness started. He's what they call a flathead because he's got a flat, his head's flatter. He's got a flat pig-like nose, and you can see his nostril right there. This is it in the reverse. You can, when you there's his nostril hole. There's the flat snout. His eyes right there. I'll show you his eye here in a minute. That right there is some sort of gray haired entity with flesh tone, Caucasian tone skin. I say flesh tone. Here, racist. So, and then here it is in the negative where you can see it. You know, you can see the snout, and you can see the eye, and you can see the top of the forehead. So let's just show the footage more. So I have two separate clips. One, the first clip is where his head's back and he's coming forward, and I've looped it. And then the second clip is where he's got his head down and he's watching me, and he's kind of trying to figure out what he's going to do because I'm starting to turn my shoulders and he doesn't know whether it's going to go up or down. So let's go. This is the head coming forward. Almost the wrong way. This is the head coming forward. And I've just looped it. And it comes forward there. His head's back. He comes forward. Pushes his nose. See this foliage right there? He pushes his nose through that. Gives him cover for his eyes. The eyes are recognition. So he's looking at me. His left eye's almost totally blocked, but his right eye, you can see him to the right eye. He has that weird little creature on this. Literally clinging to the side of his head. It's crazy. And that's blowed up, of course. That's not. I've blown that up and done the best I can with it. And he's out of focus here because I'm turning my shoulders. He's got his head back and he's moving forward and down. So I'm moving, it's moving, and there's no gimbal on my camera. So that's why and then once he settles in, the autofocus kicks in. And you can see this little thing here, straight. And it's right there on the shoulder. And then on the next one, this is the part of it where he's just bobbing his head. He's maintaining and just bobbing. This is before I turn my shoulders and he ducks out of the way. And you can see here he's just bobbing back and forth, bobbing and weaving. So you can see the little entity and you can see his arm or his body out there. His little mouth, he's going. That's what he's doing with his mouth. I don't know what he's saying. His little mouth. It's hard to see unless you can do it. You know, you can come sit down, someone down with a video camera, with the computer. But you can, when you slow it down and blow it up even though it's blurry, you can see his mouth. Just, he's popping his mouth open. I don't know what he's saying, but definitely popping his little mouth open. And what's really fascinating is I did a deep dive and looked at these nostrils real close. You can see it breathing. The nostrils are opening and closing naturally as it's breathing. It is breathing air. And that's what these are. This is a close-up. You know, I do the best I can, but it's difficult. And I believe this is eye. Yeah, this is the eye, but the nostril here, you can see the nostril is open. But right here is his eye. And if you watch right in there, as I go through, right there's his eye. He's looking, you know, he's got that, you know, stuff laying on the foliage laying across his nose. And he's kind of got that one eye, you know, looking at him. And if so, if you look here, so watch the eye right there, and watch this. Watch it move. You tell, like you can see it. So there's it open. Now just watch. See it right there. There you can actually see the white of his eye, the sclera, and there's the black iris. See that? So it's dark, and he's kind of back to start. You can actually see the iris right there, and there's the sclera of the iris. That's him looking at me. Got one eye on me. And if you notice, you watch the nostril, you watch it open and close. And he actually kind of turns right there at the end. Eyes open, nostril closes, and then see that? What's that nostril close? Right there where my pointer's at. Open, close. And then he cocks his nose up. In a wrinkle. And then here's just a close up of the nostrils. You can see here this one is closed. Watch right there. That's the nostril. It's like a flat pig nostril. And then it's open. See it? Go too far, sorry. 23. 4, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. He stays right there, one breath. Closed, open, closed. And then this is the full head. So I've got the nostril, little square over there. So 1, 2, 3. There's the full breath right there. And that's that same sequence. His eyes right here. If you watch, you can see his eye. There's his nostril. Crazy. What's that nostril? Completely open. Completely closed. Wrinkle in that snout. I can see and watch this all day. It's crazy. Knowing that there was a live, living creature 7 or 8 feet behind me. Terrifying, at the same time, crazy. God bless me, remind me to live through it and get some footage. I believe that's all of them. Let me check here. So here's the complete footage. I forgot about that. This is just as I put the full footage. More real size. It's right there. It's just 1080p. Best I can do. As you can see, when basically what happens here. I don't want to open that. I do want to easy to see. Nothing like the media player. Let that media player go. Hang on. Oh. We'll play it better. There we go. Find control better. So that's the full clip, real speed. How fast it happens that fast. There is no slow motion in the wild. That's how fast he could have jumped out of bed and gotten him too. But play it again. Right there he is. And there was where his head was back. His head's coming forward. He's about shoulder height, so he's about 6 foot. So he's watching me because he doesn't know what I'm going to do. And I turn, and I kind of turn and lean forward because I'm having to duck under some stuff. And the camera goes up. And then when my shoulders settle, he is, or Steve's right there. You just can't see. He is ducked behind this, so I can't see him. He's right there. That's it. You can see a part of his leg right there. So, with that being said, this is just part one, and I wanted to show people, what they look like, and so they can get an idea of what they're dealing with. And we're going to delve more into, how to handle an encounter if you have one. Both practical and spiritual ways to deal with these creatures, and that it's not a fun adventure to go looking for them. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Everybody have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless.